All right. Welcome back, everyone. We're going deep, deep into something a little different today.
Oh, yeah.
A little,
Dare I say it? A
yeah,
little darker.
a little darker, yeah. We're talking all things Gothic, but,
Yeah. Not just your average.
not your, like, stereotypical cobwebs and castles kind of Gothic.
Right.
We're going way beyond that today.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about how this whole aesthetic, this whole vibe
Yes.
went from, books, literature,
Mm-hmm.
to fashion,
Absolute.
to interiors, art, music,
Whole subcultures.
entire subcultures. I mean, it's practically everywhere.
It really is. It's fascinating how far-reaching it's become.
It really is.
Hmm.
So for this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a ton of stuff to dig into. We've got articles, research papers,
Mm-hmm.
even some, those old school fashion plates, the historical ones.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So our mission, should we choose to accept it,
I think we should.
I think we should too, is to uncover how this aesthetic, this Gothic thing, basically took over the world.
Yeah.
And why is it still so powerful, like even today?
Right. Because you think about it, it's something that, people think it as being associated with the darkness, with the past.
Yeah.
But it's so adaptable.
It's great.
You wouldn't think something, born in the 1700s be influencing like fashion trends on TikTok.
Right?
But here we are.
Exactly. So, okay, let's start with fashion, which
Mhm.
I think that's one of the most, when people think Gothic, they immediately go to like
Oh,
the
the
look,
look, yeah.
that very dramatic
Yeah,
look.
the black.
The black lace,
The corsets, yeah.
corsets,
Definitely.
that whole like Victorian morning attire vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you've got things like cybergoth, which is like neon and techie. And
Right.
how did we get from like Queen Victoria to cyber Queen Victoria?
Like all those Victorian elements, the black, the
Yeah.
lace, that's the foundation, that's the DNA. And then each era, each subculture, they kind of take those core ideas, the darkness, the romanticism, that fierce individuality that's so important to the Gothic.
Yeah, yeah.
And they spin it in a new direction. You look at romantic Gothic, it's all flowing fabrics, melancholy,
Right.
or pastel goth, which brings in this playful, almost whimsical twist.
Yeah, evolution.
It's like everyone's remixing the same
Exact.
classic track,
Yeah.
but adding their own unique beat.
Exactly. It's like a visual remix.
Yeah. And this whole visual remixing, it's not just clothes, right? You see it pop up in interior design too.
Oh, absolutely.
So you walk into a
Think about those haunted houses.
yes.
You've got those classic haunted house vibes.
Dark color palettes.
Yes, dark colors, furniture with all that intricate carving.
Yeah.
Maybe some pointed arches thrown in there.
Oh, and don't forget the stained glass.
Right. And it creates this sense of drama, this grandeur. It transports you.
You step into a Gothic-inspired room,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not in 2025 anymore.
No, you're not. It's like you stepped into a novel,
Exactly.
but instead of a book, it's like a house you walked into.
Yes.
And speaking of novels, I mean, the Gothic, it all started in literature
Mm-hmm.
and its influence on art.
Oh, it's undeniable.
It's huge. Like when someone says Gothic art, I think a lot of people might picture,
gloomy castles.
yeah, gloomy castles, cemeteries, that sort of thing.
Right.
But it goes so much deeper than that.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, look at Edward Gorey, for example.
Oh, such a great example.
His work is amazing.
It's this darkly humorous, macabre world, but it's brought to life with these
Mhm.
delicate, almost whimsical illustrations.
It's such a cool juxtaposition.
It is, and Gorey really exemplifies how the Gothic can hold these seemingly opposing ideas at the same time.
Yeah.
You have the grotesque alongside the beautiful, the humorous alongside the macabre.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of what continues to draw artists in, even today. You see so many digital artists now exploring those same themes.
Of mortality, the supernatural.
Exactly. But they're doing it with a modern, often futuristic twist.
Right.
So it's like the digital age is just another canvas
yeah.
for these age-old fascinations.
That's such a cool way to put it. It's
Oh.
like, yeah, it's just another
Another way to express it.
way to express these themes that have been around for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're talking about modern interpretations of the Gothic.
Yes.
We have to talk about the Goth subculture itself.
Oh, absolutely. A cornerstone of Gothic expression.
Yeah, I mean, picture it. The late 70s, punk is exploding,
Mm-hmm.
and alongside it comes this whole new scene
Yeah.
with bands like Bauhaus,
Yeah.
Susie and the Banshees,
Mm-hmm.
The
The
Cure.
Atlantics.
Yeah. And they weren't just making music.
Right.
They were crafting this whole visual style.
Absolutely.
You know, the dramatic makeup, the teased hair, the black clothing.
It was a statement.
Oh,
A
yeah.
statement of individuality.
Totally.
But also an embrace of, the darker side of things. It's like
Right.
they were saying, we're not afraid of this.
Right.
We're going to explore it. We're going to express it.
Yeah. And it's amazing how that subculture has evolved,
It really has.
over time, but it hasn't lost sight of its roots.
That's what's so fascinating about it.
It's still got those core elements.
You've got technology, global fashion trends, online communities.
Right.
All of these things have shaped the modern goth scene.
Yeah.
But those core themes, the introspection, the individuality, that love of the macabre,
Yeah.
they're still at the heart of it.
They're still there.
It goes to show how powerful those ideas are, how they resonate.
Across generations.
Across generations, yeah.
It's crazy. And it's so cool how subcultures can do that.
Mhm.
Like evolve and stay true
To their roots.
to those foundational elements.
Absolutely.
And that actually brings us to something a little more recent,
Okay.
which is this whole dark academia aesthetic,
Oh, yeah.
which is, all about romanticizing learning, mystery, those like atmospheric old libraries.
The old universities,
Yes,
yeah.
universities.
Yeah, with the ivy crawling up the walls.
Yeah. Like, why do you think this is resonating with people so much right now?
Well, I think there are a few things at play here. There's the obvious connection to Gothic literature.
Right.
That yearning for a bygone era full of scholarship and secrets,
Right, right.
But then there's also the focus on intellectual pursuits, on solitude, on contemplation.
Yeah.
And those are themes that, echo the introspection we find in Goth subculture.
That's true.
And let's be honest, there's a bit of escapism at play, too.
Sure.
In a world that's increasingly fast-paced and digital,
Yeah.
this like idealized version of the past, with its focus on learning and beauty, can be incredibly appealing.
Yeah. It's almost like a comfort, like a comforting escape.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, we've gone from 18th century literature to clothes, houses, music, art, entire online communities.
It's everywhere.
The Gothic aesthetic is everywhere.
It really is.
Like, what do you think it is about this aesthetic that has such incredible staying power? What keeps drawing people in century after century?
I think it's the ability to find beauty in the unexpected,
Okay.
to embrace darkness without fearing it.
Mm-hmm.
In a world that often tries to put us in like these neat little boxes,
Yeah.
the Gothic aesthetic allows us to explore our own shadows.
Right.
To confront the things that society might deem unpleasant and
Yeah.
find something compelling, even beautiful within them.
It's like looking into the darkness and finding not just fear, but like fascination, artistry, even a sense of belonging. It's like seeing the world and ourselves in a different light.
Exactly. And that brings up an interesting question for you, dear listener.
Yes.
What is it about the Gothic aesthetic that you find most intriguing?
Ooh, good question.
Is it the fashion, the music, the art,
Yeah.
the literature?
Yeah.
And what does that attraction tell you about yourself?
Mm.
About the things you value, the questions you might be wrestling with?
Ooh, yeah.
Take some time to think about it.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
I love that. That's a great point to ponder. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Of course.
on this deep dive into the world of the Gothic.
Always a pleasure.
Until next time, everyone, keep exploring those shadowy corners of creativity and thought.
Yes.
See you later.